Hey everybody, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Lex from PDQ.com.
We're talking passwords.
Are we?
Yeah. Well,
we shouldn't be talking about passwords, or at least telling our passwords.
I've typed it in chat.
You both have stories. I just realized that.
Oh, we want to go over my story?
Do we want
passwords.
quick stories, or do we want to get into passwords?
Well,
let's tell one and then wait. Go into the technical and then tell another.
Why don't we tell mine? Because Jordan's actually come into play a little further down the...
Well, yours is the belief in security through impurity.
That is true. So I figure if you make your passwords as vile as you possibly can, you'll never want to tell them to anybody. The story goes, and this is a true story, we went on a Disney cruise, and my kids were young enough they could go to the kids club, right? Well, I didn't know they said password, so my brain typed out the password.
You had to type a password so that when you picked your kids up, you had to give it to the...
See, that I didn't know. So when I go to check my kids in, they're like, the lady looks up and starts turning red. She's like, I need to know the password to check the kids in. I'm like, oh, make up a password. She goes, no, you did. I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, was that the one I did when I set this up? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, can we change that? She goes, you'll have to tell it to me. But yes, we should change it. Oh. Yeah, so I had to lean over and whisper that. And the shame I felt for like a whole 10, 15 seconds before we changed it to pineapple. So.
But, the great thing is your passwords are memorable to you. Security through impurity.
Absolutely.
You make those so vile that you don't forget them.
And I'm not.
They are an HR violation
to tell anybody them.
Yeah.
So
That's the best part about the story is the mystery behind it. It's like, what could it have been?
Well, see, I've heard passwords that he's willing to tell me, and those are horrifying.
They're bad.
I want to know what gets to the point where not even you will say it. Just shout it from the rooftops.
I'm going to do it one day. I'll do it. But not on this show.
Yeah.
All right. So password policies, this is because back in the day when I controlled such things, all of the rules were different. Like everything that was this is best practice is now apparently not best practice.
Okay.
As we go. So we're just going to kind of we're just using the password policy. In my experience, it's always just been in the default domain policy.
So we're going to show them in group policy where this is done.
Yep. As someone said, audio issues? Okay.
Okay. All right. So I noticed you pulled up the password policy for Lex GPO. Can we pop that one up so everyone can see that one?
Pop what's on the screen there.
There we go.
So this one's special for you because, and as far as what the requirements of the password are, those aren't changed. We'll get to why it's special for you when we get to the lockout policy.
Okay. All right.
So right now the enforced password history.
Way back in the day.
That was always you want to have can't reuse a certain number and replace it, and that's mostly been or
pretty much
what I've read.
with.
Everyone's saying don't do this.
Think about it, right? I had 3 cycling passwords for years, right? And as soon as I got to that, I could reuse them, and it seems not to work out all that well.
What it tends to, it gives people reusing passwords and
over and over
causes problems. So they found overall the history and making them change the password after both are set to 0 A's. Once you've set the password within the parameters, keep it as long as you need. And we have a chart we'll put up here in just a bit to show why. The minimum password length, I think 12 is the recommended, but what's it? Moore's Law?
More is better? Moore's Law? More is better?
Every 18 months, the power of computers doubles? Or
yeah, that's right.
Something like that. I'm stealing that from some nerd that can't...
some nerd who's behind the mic not speaking up about it?
You can't see me, but I'm here.
So 12 characters recommended, and the reason is the amount of time it takes to crack the password over 12. And the complexity requirements, they say no longer are a big deal. It's still... I'd recommend having it.
So if I have 12 and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I have to do the math after that to figure out how many more numbers.
So what's the... Can we?
Do you want to throw that up on the
slide? Well, I can tell you exactly. So if you have 12 and you have nothing but numbers and they know that, it's going to take 25 seconds to crack.
Yeah, let's take the full shot on that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah. So 12 characters, if they know that it's only numbers and they're only looking for that, 25 seconds. If they don't know that it's that and they have to account for symbols and everything, then 12 characters is going to take 34,000
Now,
years.
this they we're talking about, it's the ominous they that wants your information.
The no good nicks and ne'er do wells.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why they say, because anyone that's trying to crack a password through a brute force method, they have to assume that it has uppercase, lowercase numbers and symbols, just because it's common enough. So they can't just assume only numbers. Otherwise, I mean, 25 seconds is that's not great for you. But they're not going to be running numbers only. They're going to be checking for everything, and so it's going to take 34,000 years to crack that one.
34,000 years, huh?
Was that one? Which was at 12, but eventually, with how fast computers are getting, I mean, that number is going to shrink down. But
So basically, that complexity right there, right? That really matters. Uppercase, lowercase. It just does make it harder or take longer to crack.
they have to account for more characters. So that's why the complexity requirements, I have that disabled. I would recommend you still have in your passwords a number or anything like that. But to meet the complexity requirements where they have very specific rules, I don't feel like that's necessary.
Okay. So here's a question, and this is for everybody. Is a space a complex character?
Or a special character?
Or a special character, yeah, excuse me. It's complex, obviously.
I read through
I interviewed it, but...
I read through the explain in the policy, and it does not call out space anywhere
It does not call it a space.
as a complex. No, it has exclamation point, $, pound sign, % sign.
You know what? I think I'm going to rule on this since I'm the authority
Okay.
on passwords. It is a special character. So you guys can take that to the bank. Space is a special character
It is special.
unless I'm wrong. So
I just feel like space is always just keeping words apart.
it's
Sorry.
dividing.
I'm sorry.
It's just dividing the world of words. That was...
That is my greatest joke of the day, so it doesn't get better from there.
The sad thing is I tried to build on it, and that's just, this is so bad.
Uh-oh, we got JJ angry.
Any comments, JJ?
You've angered the JJ.
Not angry. Just let's move on.
So I was just spaces are allowed. We know they're allowed. We're just wondering if they count as
Special
characters.
Yeah, right.
Like if
I'm
you
not
had
sure they do.
if you had complexity on and you only had a space instead of any other special characters, would that meet the requirements?
I guess that would be the ruling decision on that or not.
Yeah. Well, I'm not willing to test it.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
Wait, and look at that. And counts towards filling the number of characters. We're getting closer.
I like it.
All right. This last one here, the store password using universal encryption. I read this one.
You got to read this. I don't even know why it's even in here.
This is my favorite part. Storing passwords using universal encryption is essentially the same as storing plain text versions of the passwords. So I went ahead and disabled that.
Do you think that was a good idea? I mean, why would they put it in there if it's not a good idea?
There are apparently some applications that require that for it to be able to read the password. And my recommendation is get rid of that application.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. There's a few things we definitely see eye to eye on in plain text passwords.
Yeah, so if you go in there and this is turned on, then just know you've basically got plain text passwords in your environment.
Now, would a
Yeah, I'm
plain
going to keep
text
this one in mind when we do the worst practices
first practices pop that one, turn that on.
of applications. Yeah.
That, and then making sure, like, anytime I go help Grandma with her computer, I just got to lift up the keyboard.
That's the perfect place to keep it. No one looks under there.
I've never, yeah.
And that's just kind of because it used to be back in my heyday, it was 8 characters, and then every 60 to 90 days it would expire, and you couldn't use the same password or like previous
6 or 7 times, yeah.
And even the people that came out with all of these requirements, they're coming out against it and saying this was a mistake. And basically, it's you want enough characters that it takes a long time to brute force. And let's be honest, when it comes to taking advantage of passwords, it's rarely going to be some sort of attack that constantly goes in and figures it out. It's going to be someone clicks on a bad link and types their password in.
That's a good point.
That's
Next time you win an iPad, right?
That's right. Well, I've won so many iPads. They haven't been delivered yet, but I'm excited.
Any day now.
It's showing up.
I was contacted by a Nigerian prince, and I'm looking to make some money.
Fantastic. Yeah, so and that's the thing. Having a password is just one of those. In general, they're going to go look elsewhere, but most of the time, if your password is cracked, it's because the user clicked on a link they shouldn't have and entered their password, which not ideal. But we'll go into I guess what to do after.
You know, interestingly enough, right? Let's talk about the human error portion of this, right? I mean, Kirk, you were saying you were testing the phishing, and you actually fished yourself.
I did. I set up a phishing campaign, and there was a day when I was doing 4 things at once, and an email came in saying that I had a OneDrive problem, and I broke all my rules and clicked the link and then hung my head in shame.
And we've all done it. That's the thing. We have all done it.
Humans make mistakes.
I was about to make a bold claim, but that just sounds like I'm inviting future ridicule.
Have you ever typed your password where it shouldn't have been?
What, me?
Yeah.
I mean, only
All right, here comes the story.
Only in
Here
open
comes that
chat
story,
windows.
yeah.
So luckily, the password that I was using for server login, and I'm about to go into another don't do this, was the same password that you could use at the time to unlock my credit.
Using the same password in
That
many
password,
places.
yeah. So I was reusing passwords, which is a big no-no.
Yeah.
But what are people going to do with bad credit?
Exactly.
But to your credit, Jordan,
To your credit.
to your credit, yes, they're inadvertent. Pun not intended.
I remember that.
Boy, what was I saying?
I remember the comment right after Jordan typed his password in the chat, and it was, "Hey Jordan, is that your password?"
And I
Yeah,
gave
I
a
did type that.
very honest response of, no, that is an old password.
No, Jordan, I was about to say, you didn't have the same password policy that Lex had. And that is probably why you still have your job.
I would have been fired.
If you had typed that, what Lex had posted or verbally said to that Disney cast member, if you would type that in chat for the webcast,
I would cancel myself. That'd be it. I just pick myself
I don't think you'd
up
be sitting there.
by the neck and just exit myself.
I have twice, through webcast, caused us to change passwords.
That's right. That's right.
So I mean, maybe I'm not the best person to talk, or maybe I am the best person, as someone who keeps on typing their password where it doesn't go. But
Be careful. Is that what you're saying?
Well, also, I haven't fallen for a phishing attack. I'm just really dumb and put it in clear text in a chat window. It's completely different.
Absolutely. Kurt, I can't believe you fell for that.
Well, knowing which window is active is important when typing.
Yes, it is.
I like the comment by Chad. Under the keyboard is the perfect air gap security.
I like it. Oh, well, okay. So, what is account lockout policy? You said you had something special for me.
Yeah, I have it right here where if you ever mistype your password, it's going to lock your account for 30 minutes.
Dude, how long have you worked with me?
Long enough to make this hilarious.
Long enough to know I can't. I can't. You've all seen it. I can't type for anything.
Honestly, on this one, this is another preference thing. I think 5 is my preferred because when I first, in the morning when I walk in, I'm going to mistype my password at least 3 times. And that gives me 2 chances to get it right that count.
That count. But it is a good thing to do this, right? I mean, so you don't have repetitive attacks on it.
Because a lot of the way the brute force works is it keeps on trying passwords. So having something that says too many bad attempts and it locks it down for a certain time, it's going to interrupt any sort of hack that way.
So since this is a policy for me, we probably make that 10.
You want 10 bad attempts?
I need, because you've seen me type, man.
We're going to do 32.
30, fair enough. Okay.
30 attempts remaining.
I believe in your ability to get it within 32 attempts.
See, that I need someone to believe in me, man. Thank you.
All right, and after the last part that we're going to go over with the password is the Kerberos. This is basically how long the token after the login is valid. I think the default is 600 hours or...
Is it 600 hours?
Instead, I guess let's open it up and take a look. 10 hours. 600 minutes. Close. But basically the same thing.
600 hours, minutes? Yeah, you know.
And that's for the user ticket. The service ticket, we'll see if that's the same.
Yeah,
600 minutes.
What is what is a Kerberos ticket? I can't even say it today. I know what Kerberos is. It's the 2-headed dog that blocks or guards hell.
Yeah.
That's Cerberus, and he has 3 heads.
Yeah, he lost a head?
3 hits?
Well, he did before Hercules.
Well, after he argued with me, he only had 2.
This is the 2-headed younger brother, and he guards the gates of heck.
Okay. So actually, what is it?
It's well, the Kerberos ticket is basically how long that credential is valid to be able to access different resources and everything. If that expires through inactivity or hasn't sent what's a ticket generating ticket, I think they call it.
TGT?
Yeah, TGT. Then it expires, and basically you have to log back in to prove you're you again.
So if you were to set that at, say, 30 minutes.
then
Your end
you're
users
going to
are
have a
gonna
lot of
hate you.
very angry people.
It's going to
Every
cut
30
into
minutes.
production.
Extreme
Another thing
revalidation.
not to do. But okay, so that's basically what that is.
This is if you don't want to force them to retype the password a lot. And 10 hours seems reasonable to me. Chances are they're not going to sit down 10 straight hours. If they lock the computer, come back and log back in, that's going to reset.
Timer starts again, okay.
So unless they're sitting there at this point 10 hours and 1 minute straight.
Have you ever seen me work, man?
No, actually.
No, nobody
not in
has.
6 years.
I can do 10 hours of what I do. Sit back and drink scotch for 10. I think I can do it 10 hours.
All right. Well, we'll try it out.
Okay.
You know, our buddy Billy Z has an interesting comment. He says, check DC event logs for passwords entered into username boxes. I did that once here. I was in a conference room, and it was just Shane and I in the room. I was logging into the main computer to share everything up on the screen, and thought I'd already put in the username. No, so I typed in my password.
I've done that too.
Shane was there, and luckily it was just the two of us. He stopped. He says, "Hey, is that your password?" And I looked up. I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, first off, don't ever put your password there. Second of all, that is a weak ass password." I'm like, "Okay, I'll change it." So yeah,
There's a lot of judgment, I've noticed.
When it
at
comes to
BD.
passwords, yeah.
A lot of judgment.
Yeah.
Don't put it in clear text. Don't type it in the chat window.
At an IT company, gee.
yeah, go figure.
So I do know Sean wanted to use the password I typed in and like make T-shirts out of that password.
Yeah.
I had to remove it from a lot of areas. It's now good to go if we still wanted to do
Make
that.
T-shirts with your old password.
Such a
Yeah,
deep
still,
inside joke.
Still
at
waiting
this
for an
point, but-
image. Still waiting for an image from Josh. So. And we'll get a.
I'm nervous
If we
because
had that ready to go, we could have promoted that one.
Today, yeah, that would be a good one.
it's just I know I was very thorough in removing that. There's going to be some obscure thing that I logged into once that password's still valid, and we'll see. We'll
That'd
see.
be funny.
I wasn't following best practices because I reused passwords.
No longer. All right, I gotta. I mean, those are passwords, right? So, Kirk, what was your comment? I loved your comment about passwords and data.
What do you call data that's only protected by a password? Shared.
And the thing about it is, guys, unfortunately, that really could be it probably is the case. I mean, passwords, because, you make a mistake like any of us have done, right? Passwords out in the wild now, right? Luckily you notice that you change it, but what if you didn't, right? And what if you reuse passwords? So there's got to be something else, something additional to make it more secure. And that's where you have
Two-factor.
multi-factor, two-factor.
Multi-factor authentication, MFA. So, and that's just basically to protect.
Being an idiot.
Yeah. For people that have clicked on the link and typed in the password,
Oopsie.
they haven't. That means that was a security breach there, but they're not going to get in because they don't have the other code. And there's different versions of that. I did the text version, and I've been informed that that's the least secure.
Okay, so text to your phone's one version, right? I mean, and then there's like Google Authenticator. There's a bunch of them out there, right? And the nice thing about it is you have to have Kurt, you were saying yesterday about the text to phone. Why was that less secure?
Because hackers have begun to exploit SIM card takeover of cell phones. So if you're using a text code and they take over your cell phone, they have the keys to the castle when that happens. And it's been done from confusing customer service reps and getting them to transfer your service and actually hacking systems, taking them over. So my recommendation is to always use an application that's not tied to a cell phone.
Honestly, if they're going to take over my SIM card, I want them to take the bill too.
That would be courteous if they could.
So we have Alexander, who said not via SMS before Kirk broke it down. Why don't you just sit around and agree with my brother all day?
Oh, so this is how it's going to be now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so with multi-factor authentication, I mean, that does reduce, again,
At 99.9%. Because at that point, if they get your password to that link, they go in and send it, and you get the alert, hey, someone's trying to log in, then you have to then hit, oh, yeah, that was me, and accept at that point to get through.
so that's where that 0.1% comes in. The people that just automatically, yep.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely trying to log into something. So there's no perfect thing, but having multi-factor on top of the password. So the password policy, it is important, as you saw with
From
just
the graph,
numbers,
yeah.
25 seconds. That's not a lot of time to crack a password. So having some sort of complexity or length to it on top of multi-factor is really the only way to protect, we'll just say, users from themselves. And
So are you saying that we are the weak? I'm not going to say it like I say we are the weakest link. You're going to know you are the weakest link, but the human error is the weakest link.
Human
in this.
error is, I think I have a stat somewhere if I could find it, the number. I don't know. How many users?
Should we
What
just start?
percent?
Here's some stats.
You want some stats?
Let's do some stats, man.
All right, this is my favorite. This is going to surprise people, but it turns out 2 years not being able to go out as much as you used to has led to a lot of people, a ramp up in the amount of cyber attacks.
Okay, what's the percentage gone
So
up now?
the low number we found was 300%, which is real bad. The high was 600%. There's no one seems to agree on what it is, but even if you take the best
low,
case scenario,
It's bad.
that's still that's a massive increase.
Yeah, that's bad.
Successful cyber attack every 39 seconds.
39.
Yep, with 75 records stolen a second. That's see, this is why I have nothing of value in my life. I mean, have at it. And this was relevant for, I mean, a lot of our users are small medium business. That's 43% of all successful attacks are happened against small and medium business, which feels like that's disproportionate.
I think there's a lot of small and medium business out there. I mean, it's what makes the world go round.
Well, there's the number. 95% of all security breaches are human error. That's a fun stat.
That's, astounding. And obviously from our stories and the things we have done here.
That's just because there are so few sentient androids out there. Of course, it's human error.
Yet.
Yeah, yet.
Are you tipping your hand there, Kelly? I mean, Mr. Roboto? So-
I need you to identify all of these trains and boats for me, please.
Another
circle them.
interesting, and I guess here's kind of some more. It's so funny to look this stuff up because you just find interesting stuff. Okay, so 24% of users use passwords like password, QWERTY, or 12345.
So just the easy to guess passwords.
So I'm going to change my password after this, so that should go down a little bit.
well, I mean, 12345 is the password for my luggage.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how about this? 67% of users are reusing passwords across multiple
That's
accounts.
me. I did that.
Is your luggage connected to the internet?
Oh, I mean, not yet, but I gotta.
Gonna download your shirt.
That's
next
coming. I mean, everything
It's
is
Bluetooth right now.
Smart luggage.
smart luggage.
Oh, man. That's,
Bad jokes.
My luggage is gonna start telling me about the poor fold I have on my clothes.
You don't just smash it in here, thank you.
61% of malicious attacks start with compromised credentials.
I believe that.
But that's interesting because 61%, but then 95% is human error. You'd figure the human error would almost always be compromised credentials. It feels, I don't know, I'm questioning that number.
I think
Well-
human error also factors in misconfiguration.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, and clicking email links, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
usually when you
Phishing.
click on that, it's because they're phishing for your password.
Yeah.
You're typing your password after.
Yeah.
Okay, this one it blows me away after everything. 59% of users using family members, pets, or pet information in passwords.
Interesting.
That's why I have no pets.
There's so many people who just kind of clinched.
Yes,
They're
uh-oh.
like,
Yeah.
I got to change my password. There.
That one is really common in my experience.
Yep.
The users who inadvertently told me their password when I wasn't asking for it, it almost always included some type of reference to their personal life.
Do these come from a survey?
Yeah, these are just different articles we looked up.
Okay.
Probably put those links. Probably should. If
We
I was
should,
like,
yeah,
because
the
how
links
would
are-
they know the percentage of how many people did that if they don't know the password?
So,
but I guess
Ranger
so
two.
if these are really simple passwords, there are plenty of leaked databases out there that you could go through and just do a crack on all of them, and like, okay, so your wife's name is such and such, or your pet's name is Sprinkles. Okay, we're going to do a search for like how many of these passwords do
JD,
they
you've never met my
crack down
pet.
to Sprinkles.
JJ, that brings up an interesting call out. On Facebook, you see these posts where they say, give us the name of the street you grew up on, or what was the name of your first card. Those are all phishing. People create them to harvest information.
They can either be passwords or they can be assistants. What's the the question to be able to unlock your account?
Yeah, the security question. Let's say
what was the street you drove, or street you
Yep.
first grew up on, or what was the first car you drove?
Yeah, I got
typical security questions.
I used to post to my friends and family to stop replying to those, and I finally got tired of being ignored. I just don't even mention it anymore. But they're effective.
I got to tell you, high res too, PDQ rocks would be more secure if you put a couple of numbers and like 15 exclamation points after it, but that is a good password.
Yeah. Exclamation points are unhackable. Most people don't know.
That's all you need to do.
Yes.
Yeah, just put your pet's name, but then follow it by like 80 exclamation points, and you have the most uncrackable password.
And a space. And a space.
And a space. I
And a
almost
space.
forgot that, Lex. Forgive me.
There you go.
This next is my personal favorite.
Okay.
43% of users have shared their password with someone.
Oh, yeah. I believe.
So
There you go, Kirk. That was
Every time I say the
You
word
brought that one up
password,
earlier.
I'm sharing mine.
back when I was on help desk, I got a call in that they're locked out, and I asked the first question of, "Do you know your password?" And their answer was yes, and then gave me their password over the phone. It's like, you don't even know who I am. I just answered the phone.
Here's one that is kind of interesting, goes along with IT professionals reuse passwords more than any average user.
It makes sense. We log into more stuff.
That is a good point.
But it should make sense because we also have password keepers. We have
Well, see, that there is a good point, yeah.
well even
Oh, wow.
Chrome has its own built-in.
And they're always so handy. It's like, hey, I'll remember your password.
So you have no excuse now. Yeah.
Good point, good point. Should we finally take a question?
Let's
I mean,
take
we've been
questions.
babbling for a while. Should we do some questions?
It's like, yeah, we're about done and haven't taken a question yet.
Let's see what we can at least point you in the right direction on.
Gentlemen, the times to crack on that slide is that online/live cracking attempt or some offline ability to attempt. Adam N.
So I can't believe it's online because the lockout policy we talked about. Normally, after a certain amount of bad passwords, it's going to lock out. So my guess is that password's been leaked through a different hack, and they have that list where it's still encrypted, but they have it, and they run the hack against that to break the encryption. Would be my guess, but I don't know. I've never
That and it's probably what they're using is probably GPU based rather than CPU, which you wouldn't be able to use GPU on a online like REST call. You've got milliseconds of delay between each of those calls, and that adds up quick. So
Yeah.
I would imagine that it's probably from leaked databases offline.
Someone mentioned in the chat the "Have I Been Pwned," where you can put in something.
Yeah,
to
there
let
you
know.
go.
They probably have something from a different site that's been breached.
Yeah. And Kelly, you brought up something in our chat yesterday. Quantum computing, we're on the precipice of it.
Yep.
When that becomes a reality, that chart will change dramatically. So keep an eye on quantum computing.
That chart is going to say instantaneous. On
Oh, yeah.
every
Yeah,
single one of
that
those. We're
changes
gonna have
the
to
equation.
So they're putting another squirrel in there and putting another carrot for the computer.
Squirrel's a different encryption
Well,
type.
we'll have to completely change the paradigm of how we secure our stuff. Like
Yep.
passwords just aren't going to cut it anymore.
True.
I forgot
We'll need uncrackable.
I forgot the name of that guy, but there's someone that already thought about that.
Yeah, it's Steve Gibson from Security Now. He invented SQRL, calls it Squirrel. But you can read about that if you're interested.
I still think they need to put another squirrel in the computer and give it a
More
carrot.
squirrels in there.
What else we got?
Okay. Is there a policy where an account will expire if it is not used within a specified time period? We have seen issues where someone will try to sign an exchange OWA and can't. Needs set again. eGym.
Not as a password policy that I know of. I know you can, when you create an account, you can set a date in Active Directory on when that account expires, but I don't think that's filled out by default. You think you have to do that specifically. That's added for like temp workers.
No, OWA, that's Outlook Web Access, right?
yeah.
And that you'd have to set on your web exchange there.
Well, Outlook Web is still going to use the 80 credentials.
Okay, 80 credentials.
So, but I don't know of anything that will make it expire short of you can have a set account to expire, but that is not, it should not be filled out by, if it is filled out by default, then you've got something weird in there. I would check a couple of your AD accounts and see if that has been changed. And if you have a set to expire thing across the board, either someone did it because they're hilarious, or there's a setting somewhere that says changing that up. And you
When
might
you
want
say
to.
hilarious, they're evil.
Yeah, I don't know of a default way, so I would definitely take a look at that and then check to see if there's anything that is setting that.
Dear Lex and Jordan, so if they leave the computer on and the token expires, they would need to log out and back in to access the network? High res 2.
Depending on if the machine's doing anything where it would send the ticket generating ticket. If after the 10 hours nothing had sent a generating ticket, then absolutely they would have to log out and log back in before they could access most things.
What he said.
All right, next question. Okay. Can you change the local admin password remotely? Follow-up from High Res.
Actually just put a blog out there on the for each in PowerShell. And the second example that I did in that was changing local admin passwords. If the name of the password account is the same across the board, then the script they use in that example might require a little bit of modification, but that would allow you to change that for all users. I would recommend doing something like Laps instead, which is a bit more secure. But if you do have a local admin, it can be done with the PowerShell. And if you're looking to do it remotely quickly, you can use PDQ Deploy to send that one out there, and you'll update all the local passwords. Just knowing that if the name's different, you're going to have to account for that in the logic of the script.
The PowerShell compels you.
It does indeed.
I'm a little lost on this one from Luke B. Is the talk for Active Directory PSOs?
It is not. So those are password security objects. Those are for people where different groups have different requirements on their passwords and they don't necessarily want to do different domains. Because we mentioned at the start, the password policy generally goes into the default domain policy and applies everywhere.
So you could use a PSO just to stick me with the disable my account kind of
for the
thing.
jokes to work of the Lex password, that would be a PSO, not a GPO, but we didn't really dive into those.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, we do have more. Dear Lex and Jordan, Spice World 2022 is in person this year. Will you gents be making an appearance? Missed out on receiving a whiskey tumbler. Hint, hint. Chuck A.
So I don't know. I usually am told if I'm gonna go
You're
to the
told what you do?
I'm going to the PowerShell Summit.
Okay.
That's here in about a month and a half.
Is it here in Salt Lake?
No, it's in
Redmond.
Seattle.
Okay.
Here is that's the one that's
Here, there.
Yeah, here,
over
there.
there. Okay.
so that one. But if I'm going to another one, I haven't been told yet.
We did attend virtually last year, and so I do think it is on the table to be there in person. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not actually. We've shifted a few things around, expanded the marketing department. I don't make those decisions anymore, so we'll find out.
There's a possibility.
It's been 10 years since we went in person.
That's right. It
I
has
think
been
it's
that long.
Shane and I went out there in 2012. That was the last time we went.
I think it's about time we go back out there.
Make an appearance? Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, why not? Okay, next question. Is there a policy to exclude certain words? This may be directed to Lex. Thank you, Dustin M.
I can't think of a way to put that kind of filter in.
I don't think so.
Not with a Active Directory policy, not by default.
Yeah.
There's definitely not a default policy where you can block words. I mean, there's
Can you
something.
not do a regular expression?
I'm just wondering this.
policy?
It's like, if it's a secret and you don't tell anyone, does it matter? If I'm only throwing my
Passwords are
own
private.
For me, the only way that would matter is if you were to check the username and make sure there was no character reused there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think one of the things of the complexity is like it won't allow words it recognizes from the dictionary.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's not limited to certain things. That's kind of across the board. And a lot of the words we use probably aren't in the dictionary.
Just got word from Jaron, who is the guy that makes the call on Spice World, and he's also on Phone a Friend. He could just jump in and tackle that question. But
Are you trying to say he can make decisions?
yes,
He's El Presidente.
El Presidente.
that's it. Dun, dun, dun.
We will be attending Spice World this year, pending no pandemic problems.
Boom.
Who are you sending? Who are you sending out?
That I don't know yet. So maybe we'll have like a Survivor month here.
Play
and decide who makes
Survivor.
it.
That'd be fun.
Can I EpiPen someone on that? That's-
You know, if you don't ever
You're not
pin
gonna
someone,
be
you
here.
failed.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's the only guarantee is Lex isn't going.
Is that really a guarantee?
Yeah.
It is.
That is not a guarantee. We still may talk Lex into going.
And final
That's
question of the day. Is there a way for on-prem AD to have two-factor authentication? Sincerely, Chris.
You know, with all this, I never had to set up two-factor, so I don't have I can't.
Kirk, how about you, man? What are your thoughts?
I haven't run on-prem AD in more than 5 years. I don't think I'm the right guy for this. I know that the Azure AD cloud hosted does two-factor and SSO very well, but I can't speak to local hosted. Sorry.
So I'll take this. I don't know, guys. I really don't know.
Man, I would hope so, but then again, they've been trying to push people off of on-prem for a while. That seems like a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want two-factor.
Well, that's it.
Holding your feet to the fire, apparently. Yeah.
The better trained your workforce, the less likely that kind of breach.
Absolutely. And yeah,
Oh, and I just saw in the chat, Cisco Duo works well for securing on-prem and cloud AD.
cool.
So it looks like probably not inherent within group policy, but there are applications that you can get that set up for.
Does that wrap it up?
I think that's it.
That's it.
Thanks for tuning in. Keep your crap safe.
That's right. Secure it with passwords and multi-factor.
That's right.
I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan, PDQ.com.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations to E. Jim and Chuck A., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you like what you've seen today, please do us a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That makes us happy. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next time.